If you consider to naturally induce labor, then this video is probably the most important video that you can possibly find on this topic. And that's because in this video, we are going to share with you the most important and crucial things that we have learned over the past decade in helping women naturally induce labor at Natalie's clinic.
Yes. So first of all, we are going to walk you through the 3 main reasons why so many women fail to naturally induce labor at home.
Yeah.
And then we are also going to tell you under which circumstances it can be a success and what you can try to make it work.
Yes, this is Natalie, a pregnancy and birth consultant and TCM therapist.
And that's Matthias, a researcher in science geek.
And we are here to help you and your baby naturally and science-based. So let's jump right into it. Alright, so what are the 3 main reasons why you may not be able to naturally induce active labor, which is the stage of labor in which you're feeling those very intense contractions and when you dilate from about 3 to 7 centimeters? Well, the first reason why it may not work for you, and we really see this all the time at the clinic, is your timing. And what we mean by timing is that you may try to induce labor at a point in your pregnancy when you don't see any early signs of labor, such as your baby has dropped or you lost your mucus plug, etc. Or maybe you do see 1 or 2 signs, but not lots of them. Right now, of course, these early signs of labor are not always reliable signs that labor is close. However, the one thing that early signs can reliably tell you is that your body is preparing for labor.
Right.
And you do need your body to be ready for labor if you want to successfully induce labor at home.
Yes. And the reason for that is simply because your body can only take one step after the other. First, your baby needs to engage in the pelvis. Then your cervix needs to soften, then it needs to dilate a bit, and then maybe we can talk about going into active labor to help you dilate even further. And don't get me wrong, like for some women, all these steps could happen within hours before or even after labor has started.
Yeah.
But that's normally only the case for second-time moms. For most other women, it's a process which may take days, sometimes weeks.
Right. And because of that, if you try to naturally induce labor before your body is ready for it, your body will be like, okay, hold on a second. You do realize that your baby has not yet dropped, right? Also, we are still miles away from softening your cervix.
Right.
Are you really sure that you want me to go into labor right now? And so your body is most likely not going to positively respond to any of your efforts of naturally inducing labor.
Yeah. However, the good news is that there are ways to help your body prepare for labor, which we have discussed in other videos that you can find in the description below this video.
Right.
But basically, we're talking tools like acupressure, reflexology, dates, and exercises to help engage the baby and to soften and dilate the cervix. And they are supposed to help you in 3 ways.
Yes. So first of all, they are supposed to help you get your body faster to a point when your body is indeed ready for labor. For example, oftentimes these tools can help you engage your baby or lose your mucus plug earlier than it would have normally happened.
Yeah. Second, what we have observed at the clinic very often is that if you apply the tools for labor preparation thoroughly and correctly, you normally don't need to induce labor because you're most likely going into labor spontaneously around your due date anyways.
Right. And third, if you don't go into labor spontaneously, well then at least you have prepared your body for labor. And if that means that your body is now showing you lots of early signs of labor, then this will definitely increase your chances of going into labor after naturally inducing it yourself.
Yes, however, please keep in mind that preparing your body for labor takes time. If you only apply acupressure and eat a couple of dates on one day, and then on the next day, I don't know, you drink castor oil to induce labor naturally, that's not going to work.
Yeah.
In fact, we explain exactly when to start with which tool in one of our other videos that we mentioned earlier and that you can find in the description below this video.
Right. Now, here's another problem. Sometimes you can have all the early signs of labor in the world. Your body seems super ready for labor, but believe it or not, it just does not happen, even though you try to naturally induce labor, right? And so over the past couple of years, we have identified 2 main reasons why this can happen. So the second reason why natural labor induction may not work for you is lack of exercise.
Yes, lack of exercise during pregnancy can be a problem in several ways. First of all, if a woman is mostly sitting and lying in the third trimester of her pregnancy, then her baby will have a hard time getting into the right position. But when you are active, you make it easier for your baby to adjust the position, not only in terms of turning head down, but also in terms of finding the right position to engage in the pelvis.
Yeah.
And that's important because if you help your baby engage in your pelvis, the baby's head will increase the pressure on your cervix, which helps soften and dilate the cervix. And this means that being active can get you faster to that point when your body is indeed ready for labor.
Right. The other problem with lack of exercise is that it can lead to a lack of blood circulation in your body. And that's always a problem because our cells receive both nutrients and oxygen from our blood, which they would then use to produce energy. As a result, if that supply of nutrients and oxygen is not as it should be, the body will be less able to perform certain functions properly, such as sending you into labor, because it lacks that energy that is required to do that. It's like a water wheel, right? If there's no water, the wheel cannot rotate.
Yes, and we really see this all the time at the clinic, that the women who do not go into labor spontaneously are mostly the ones who are not active during their pregnancy.
Yeah.
And so because they don't go into labor spontaneously, they try to induce themselves naturally, but it doesn't work. Producing those labor hormones requires energy. But with a lack of blood circulation and supply, the cells are not able to produce that energy. And so all that is often left then is a medical induction which forces the body into labor.
Yes, and that's exactly what so many scientific studies have found, by the way. They clearly show that women who exercise in their late pregnancy are more likely to go into labor spontaneously and are less likely to have a medical induction.
Right.
And please note that by exercising, we don't mean anything fancy, right? Scientists have found that if you're going for a 30 minutes walk at least 3 times a week, or if you're doing exercises on a birthing ball, then you are doing already a great job supporting your body. The only problem, of course, is that not every woman is allowed to exercise in her pregnancy, particularly if there have been complications, right? So please do ask your doctor first.
Yeah. Okay, now believe it or not, even when you do see early signs of labor, and even when you have been exercising thoroughly in your late pregnancy, there is still a factor which could spoil things for you. Here is an example. Many women are told that they need to be medically induced if labor does not start anytime soon. And so they want me to naturally induce them at the clinic because they obviously don't want the medical induction, right?
Right.
The problem is they are under time pressure, and when you are under some form of stress or when you're worried or anxious, then in my experience natural labor induction almost never works, which is why stress, worries and fear are our third main reason why natural labor induction may not work for you.
Yes, so you see, in order for a woman to go into labor, her body needs to release the right kind of hormones, such as prostaglandins and oxytocin. The problem is that the kind of hormones that the body releases when you are under some form of stress can interfere and in the worst case block the release of labor hormones. In other words, stress hormones could prevent you from going into labor in the first place, or if you are in labor already, these hormones could slow it down or even stop it. Why is that? Well, it's a basic instinct that we also see in mammals, right? For example, if a mammal goes into labor because, its body releases all those hormones, and if that mammal suddenly senses danger, then its body is going to release a hormone that completely shuts down labor. And this happens because nature wants to enable that mammal to seek shelter first, which it obviously can't do when it's in labor, right?
Right. And that's exactly what sometimes happens to women at the birth center. They are in labor, but now all of a sudden a person enters the room who they are not comfortable with.
Yeah.
Could be a doctor, could be a midwife. And similar to a mammal, they sense that something is not right, at least for them, right? And if they don't speak up, it very often leads to a surge of stress hormones, which can shut down or at least slow down labor.
Yes, and the same stress hormones may also interfere with the plans to naturally induce labor. Maybe you are afraid of the upcoming birth. Maybe you are afraid that your partner can be there when you go into labor. Or maybe you are afraid of tearing. Whatever it is that causes stress on your end, it could interfere with your plans to naturally induce yourself. So what can you do if your stress is caused by fears and worries?
Well, there are 4 things that you can try which have helped many women at my clinic. First of all, write down your fears and concerns. Oftentimes the problem is that you just have that strange feeling in your stomach, but you don't really know what's bothering you.
Yeah.
And so thinking about it and writing your fears down can help you manage those fears.
Right. Second, talk about your fears either with a friend, your partner, or ideally with a therapist. Very often, the mere fact that they're talking about your concerns and fears can help you manage them. Also, discussing your fears with another person can help you get to know a different point of view, which you may have not considered so far.
Right. The third strategy is inform yourself. Very often we have found that women are scared because they have wrong expectations about what is going to happen during the whole labor and birth process, simply because they don't know how things really work.
Yeah.
So one strategy could be to inform yourself about what happens during labor and birth so that you know what is really expecting you. And we do promise to do our best to help you with that on our channel.
Right.
So if you like, subscribe to our channel and hit the bell.
Right. And then finally, try relaxation techniques. This is something that we really recommend to all pregnant women out there, no matter if they're stressed or not. Try yoga, try meditation, find something that relaxes you. It could as well be like a weekly acupuncture session or auricular therapy. Whatever does the job for you and helps you calm down. And please do trust us when we tell you that from our experience, relaxation can help you enormously if you want to go into labor spontaneously.
Right. We really hope that you have found this video helpful. If you did, we would be super grateful if you could leave us a like.
Yes, and for more useful tips and tools on pregnancy and baby related topics, make sure to subscribe to our channel and to hit the bell.